to Calgary.
Oh,
That was a big national movie for us Canadians.
yes, I know. I've been up there quite a few times. They inducted me into the Canadian Sports Hall of Fame and a bunch of things. I love it up there.
Well, thank you for your service because we loved you in the movie.
Thank you
And our
very
other
much.
co-host, Jessica Heim from Franklin, Tennessee, is coming on any minute. So
Okay.
start this because I have to just start this because here we go. I got to start this. This is Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More, worldwide TV network, IT247 out of Franklin, Tennessee, Women on TV.tv. Honored to have Sherry Nelson from Vancouver, Canada, my co-host. Jessica Heim's going to join us any minute. She's having problems coming in. And one of the most, I think, this guy to me is such a great actor. When I hear The Temptations till this day, when I'm playing I'm Losing You, I'm not thinking of David Ruffin. I'm thinking of Leon. When I think of The Temptations and all this stuff, when I think of Cool Runnings, and when I think of When We Were Colored, and a couple of other movies out there, and when Little Richard passed away, I was thinking of this man. So I want to thank you, Leon, for coming on because you're such, in my point of view, you're in my top 10 actors of all time because of what you can do. I've even told people, and you don't know this, I think he could play Stevie Wonder if he had to.
I can't believe you just said that. I just did an on-camera interview yesterday, and someone was saying the same exact thing to me. They said, would you ever play Stevie Wonder? Would you ever play Stevie Wonder? That's so crazy. I don't know where that came from.
Really? No,
Yeah.
because in my mind, you can play anybody. I still think of the scene because I love the song I'm Losing You, and I play The Temptations almost every day. I see you, I'm Losing You, walking up to the stage as David Ruffin, wanting to get back at The Temptations. That's how I see it in my mind.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that it had that kind of impression on you. I really do. When we make movies, at least for myself, I consider myself a storyteller. So anytime a story resonates with you, well after the time you saw it, it gives me a feeling of accomplishment because that's really what it's about for me, doing memorable work. Everyone makes movies, everyone makes TV, everyone tells stories, but an attorney told me a long time ago, very few will be remembered. And that's what I'm hoping I can do sometimes is make memorable work.
Well, and Leon, I remember you from the Madonna video. I love that. And as a layperson, I'm curious,
Wait a second, hold on a second. Hold on, I don't want to interrupt you, but you must have been like 6 when that video came out.
No. You were fantastic in it, and I was playing it again last night. But were you able to keep the statue prop of you?
I recently saw, I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but a while ago I posted, I don't know if it was last year, whatever, I saw that the statue, but the head of my statue was auctioned off. I forgot for how much it was. Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, how come no one gave me a chance to get it?
Yeah. No, that's the ultimate statue prop. And I thought, geez, that's bigger than an Oscar. Leon, also, one of my other favorite movies was Waiting to Exhale. And us girls, we always like a bad boy. And I know we weren't supposed to like you, but there was still that charisma and charm on, and I was still rooting for you in Waiting to Exhale.
Well, I appreciate that. I was just having, it's so funny that both the Stevie Wonder thing and Waiting to Exhale are coming up because that's what came up yesterday. Waiting to Exhale is an interesting situation because, that movie isn't really about the guys, it's about the women. And it's not about the guys being bad, it's the bad choices that the women were making. So many of you women have had Russells in your life or will have Russells in your life because for whatever reason, you deem this person, he looks the way you think your boyfriend should look. But none of the other things check out. Okay, all the other things like, no, that's wrong. But he looks like he'd be perfect as my boyfriend.
I think it was the sideburns. Man, you had the charisma. You were smooth. And you know what? You didn't say a lot in the movie, but I think that's with everything you're in. You just have an amazing presence. And when I was doing some research on you, I'm not alone in that field. Robert Townsend. Could you tell us about how you and Robert Townsend met and how you became a actor in the 5 Heartbeats?
Wow. Actually, Robert had was developing the Five Heartbeats, and actually had a deal because he wrote it with Keenan Ivory Wayans for him and Keenan Ivory Wayans to play brothers. And what happened, it took so long for the movie to come around that Keenan Ivory Wayans got In Living Color. So he had to go do that. So Robert got to pick, whatever he wanted to be his brother. And he went to the MTV Awards that year. And I was there with Madonna as a date. And he saw me. And next thing you know, he realized, because the casting director had been telling him, I said, you got to meet this guy, Leon. You got to meet this guy, Leon. So he said, well, as the casting director, I saw Leon. I want to meet this guy. So we met, we had a conversation. And, it's interesting with Robert. I didn't read for the movie or anything. I just, we just talked. And then after we decided that, the deal was done and everything, he took me around the corner of the Wilshire Ebert Theater in Los Angeles, where we had rehearsals. And we were still looking at talent. And he told me that, he says, listen, I see you as a matinee idol. The kind of guy that women they go see the movies no matter what kind of movie it is, just because you're in it. He says the same way they do it with some of the white actors, like Brad Pitt, and, actors like that. And I said, really, you see me like that? He says, yes. And I'm like, all right, I'll go along for this ride, that's for sure.
No, he's right. No, I know. I was so excited when Brian sent me a message saying that you'd be on the show. So we're really happy that you're here.
I'm glad to be here.
Leon, I think back to a lot of the junkets that we used to do when you would just walk into the room and the women, their mouths would like drop. And I would just start laughing because I was like, what do you say, But you were always very humble, that I never forgot about that. But again, I always looked at you just at that performer. You want to get someone who can play that person who lived, get him. And I just remember when Little Richard tried to pick me up one time, and then I went to go see him in concert. I love Long Tong Sally and Tootie Fruity and Great Gosh Almighty. But I keep, again, you left such an impression on me, the films that you've done. I see you singing them. How bizarre is that?
Yeah, very bizarre, but hold on a second. Did you just skip over something that you said about Little Richard?
No.
Why don't you say it just a little slower?
Little Richard tried to pick me up one time when I was going to a junket at the Four Seasons. He pulled up on a Sunday in a long stretch white limousine and said, hello, young man, where are you going? I go, I'm going to the Four Seasons to do an interview. He goes, I hope to see you pretty soon. And I would have talked to him if I had more time, but I was running,
Oh, okay. All right. I just want to make sure I heard that properly.
Hi, Jessica from Tennessee.
Hello.
Hello, Jessica. How are you?
Hi, Leon. Good. How are you? Nice to meet you.
And that's a nice little balance on here. I like this. 2 men, 2 women. Always need women up here to up the beauty game of this interview. I like that.
Oh, no, I think your name says it all. Leon, with all the diverse characters that you've played, is there any one that you most relate to?
Wow. That I most relate to. Well, let's take any of the characters that really walked and talked on this earth. Let's take them out of the mix because I don't usually relate to them. I just try to become them. I did a movie that I actually produced with Paulie Perrette and John Seda and the late Lou Rawls and Loretta Devine called The Price of Kissing. And yeah, that I probably identify with that role a lot. I played a bouncer at the club who really wanted to be a reggae singer and had a friendship with a woman, Paulie Perrette, that really became, and always was more than just a friendship, but we just weren't admitting it. And yeah, those kind of like, me growing up, singing in clubs, lots of times reggae clubs, and having different relationships that I cherish because they were non-traditional relationships. I think that's what makes the world go around. It's not our traditional relationships, it's our non-traditional relationships that we've experienced in our life. And so that's what that movie was about. And that's, I identify with that, I guess.
Leon, also, I saw on your Instagram that you just guest DJ'd for a reggae, Bob Marley's reggae station. Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, Bob Marley's Tough Gong radio station on Sirius XM. Yeah, I was the guest DJ. It was a lot of fun, but I got to tell you something. It's really hard to choose just 10 Bob Marley songs. Really hard. I mean, there's so many, so my playlist was down to 10, but I mean, I left a lot of goodies out, trust me.
Jessica?
Brian?
Leon, Brian, I don't know if you know that Leon, he also has his own band, and I really enjoy that song, Love is a Beautiful Thing. It's
Thank you.
got the words, the video, it's very good. I quite like it. I know there's some YouTube laws, but I wish that we could play some of it right now, but I really enjoy your music. You do everything.
Thanks. Please get our album. I think you'll like the rest of it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I like to offer out, gifts to people online. So I'm definitely going to do that. Thank you.
Cool.
So Leon, because I came in a little bit later, first of all, I want to acknowledge that Roland Heim is my father. I'm using his phone. That's why it says that my name is Roland. But besides that, I am Jessica, and again, it's very nice to meet you. So I don't know what you guys have covered thus far. Have you touched on the fact that you are a born and bred New Yorker yet, or no?
No, we haven't touched on that yet. But
all right,
yes.
Great. So I lived there for a while, and I'm now in Tennessee trying to avoid all of the things, just trying to stay.
Where in Tennessee?
Nashville area.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And so having lived there myself and now knowing that you're from there, and I'm not to specify where you actually live, but out of the areas, do you identify yourself as a Brooklynite, a Queens guy, Manhattan, or Bronx? Like what's your favorite, or what would you consider yourself stylistically? Because they're all so very different.
Well, I mean, definitely Manhattan. I mean, that's where I've lived for decades. So.
Okay,
yeah.
So you are a Manhattan guy. Me
Very
too,
much so.
but I'm way, way, way upper Manhattan. Are you? Which section are you?
Well, I'd say I'm probably middle now. I mean, most of the time I've been downtown below 14th Street, but now I live on the Upper West Side across the street from Central Park.
Beautiful. I love that. And speaking of which, how are things? How's the city, and how have you managed through all of this? What's been kind of your USA routine to kind of keep it all together?
Well, right now the city is great. I mean, we're at like 0.93% positive rate. Really, the governor's done a great job. And then also, but I spent like about 117 days in Sag Harbor out in the Hamptons from March 15th. So I stayed completely away from the city while I was going through its craziness. Mm-hmm. And now I'm at my place in Aspen.
Okay.
And that's where I've been here playing a lot of tennis. And my producing partner in my production company also is up here. We came up here together. He's here with his wife. And so we can work. So we recorded a song and we shot a video and just, trying to be productive as we can, because I don't know when exactly work is going to start back up for me. So.
What's the name of your production company, Leon?
Motion Mob Films.
Motion Mob?
Yes.
What do you have planned for us to see?
What did you say?
Do you have any movies planned to produce?
Yes, without a doubt. We have a couple things in development. One is a situation comedy called Misunderstood, about two women from opposite ends of life, one black, one white, meeting at a speed dating and finding a friendship, a common ground, but yet, realizing the differences in how they grew up. And we have one I'm very excited about that I'm going to star in called The Pope of Avenue B, where I play a therapist, actually a street therapist because I have no office per se. So I meet my clients in the park, coffee shop, in bed, wherever they meet there.
Leon, I was watching you in an interview with the beautiful Michelle Williams, and I was wondering if you could tell us about your experiencing. Was the series that you were filming, was it in Ghana?
Oh yeah. You're talking about Vanessa Williams.
I'm sorry, Vanessa
Yeah,
Williams.
Vanessa, yeah.
Yeah. I was so
we
intrigued in your conversation about the country.
We shot that series in West Africa, Ghana, the motherland. It's called 40 and Single. And it won Best Episodic Pilot at the LA Film Festival. And I'm very proud of it. I'm also executive producer. And it's really good. And I wish people really want a season 2, but there's some things with the company that's not really working out. So we'll see what happens.
Leon, I have this flashback. I keep thinking about this because I was there. I remember what was it like when you asked Madonna or Madonna asked you to go to the award show? I remember seeing that. What's that like thinking back to that years ago now, to where you are now?
I don't know. It's it was a moment in time, as so many are. That I've been blessed to have so many great moments in my life, and been to a lot of award shows with a lot of different people, and at that particular time, it was fun. It was also different for me because it wasn't a place that I planned on being. I wasn't planning on doing a video with Madonna. Matter of fact, I said no to it twice because at the time I'm like, well, I think I'm a serious actor, and what am I doing dancing around in a video with Madonna? I don't get it. But when it was explained to me, the story was being told and how they needed an actor, and I'd actually be doing some acting, and then the wheels started turning, and then I heard the song, and I was like, that song's gonna be #1, and I was like, okay, let's work with this.
I'm glad that you said that because I was curious. A lot of people, not a lot, but some didn't realize that you were already a professional working actor prior to. Some have the misconception that that was one of your first things that you did.
Mm-hmm.
So like you said, because I'm a professional working actor, what am I doing a music video? What was it a concern of yours when you said no twice? Was it a concern because you thought that maybe saying yes would turn people's heads and be like, wait a second, does he feel like he's going backwards? Like, what was your thought process to finally saying yes, besides good music and it's Madonna, and knowing that it could be exceptionally and was controversial at the time for the mid 1980s?
Yeah, I wasn't really thinking about all of that. To be honest with you, my agent told me that Mary Lambert was a feature film director, and she was really interested in meeting me. So he says, look, why don't you just meet her? Maybe something else can come out of this. So that's how I went to the original meeting, and just to meet her and just to see. And then she explained to me what she was interested in and what she'd want me to do. And I was like, okay, well, you want Madonna to adore me and kiss my feet? And I said, kiss her. Yeah, all right.
I'm in.
Worst things could happen to me.
Leon, in the movie Above the Rim, was the atmosphere there, because there's so many amazing actors in that movie, was it kind of like a brotherhood that you created when you did that movie?
No, far from it.
Oh.
Yeah, far from it. For my character, because if you remember my character was very aloof and very alone. And so we usually, when I'm acting, if I can create a situation that's similar to how I am in the movie, that's what I do. And so, I wasn't around the other guys ever. I was always aloof. I was always, a man who spoke with his eyes more than his lips. And, that was my character. And so there wasn't really a brotherhood or anything. Although I got along with everybody fine, but I was usually just my character the whole time.
So do you, so you, I guess you were considered, you're a method actor. Is that, for anyone out there that is wanting to get into acting, is that one of the better ways or easier ways to practice that craft?
I don't think so. I actually think it's quite difficult. Yeah, I don't recommend any set way for an actor to act. That's the beauty of acting. I think that we're all different. We all get there different ways, and it's very subjective. I think I started off that way as a method actor because those were the actors that I was around. Like my era of actors were, what they used to call the Brat Pack. My best friends were Matt Dillon and, Charlie Sheen and, Chris Penn and, those guys, and so, yeah, when we were, when we did a movie, we were our characters. We didn't call each other anything but our character names.
It's interesting though. You're very good with various time periods, but you have done quite a few in that one, I guess, 50s. Like you said, Matt Dillon with Flamingo Kid. The Temptations, things like that. Do you like those eras for film?
I like those eras for style.
Yeah.
Style is very much a part of my life.
The cars.
Yeah, well, I just feel as though, like, in the 60s, late 50s especially, our style was great. When you look at kids even playing in the park or outside their house, they would dress nice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People just had style back then. It was like you didn't walk out the house. Our mom and dad, at least like in our lives, especially in Black families, you couldn't go outside unless you looked right, because that was a representation of your family. It's like you can't be looking like you don't have a mom and dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just didn't play that. So I kind of lend myself towards those times in that era because, people were just sharper, pants legs were skinnier, things were form-fitting, style.
No, my grandma, she always wore pearls. It never mattered whatever. And I remember one time I bought a pair of running shoes for her. She was horrified. She just could not fathom putting runners on. So yeah, but yeah.
Yes.
Jessica, before you came on, I was mentioning to Leon that he was in a Canadian-esque type film called Cool Runnings, which was a movie about the 1988 Olympic Games in Calgary, Alberta. And he was a part of the Jamaica bobsled team, and it was wonderful for us Canadians. And I think it was our second Olympics ever, but yeah, it was a wonderful, fun film. And of course, with John Candy, another Canadian.
Yes, John was a great guy. Yeah, he was a great guy.
Yeah, I loved that movie. So thank you. Just for someone who really liked it. Thank you.
Yeah, no,
it was fun.
People are crazy about that movie. They love it everywhere around the world. It's great. And they just love it. So I'm happy. That's the whole thing. You just, you do movies, you do projects and stuff. You just never know what's going to resonate with people and what stays in their hearts and minds for long periods of time. And these movies that you're discussing with me now are decades old, and yet you and everyone else still talks about them. And so I was talking to Robert Townsend just a couple of months ago, and he says, do you believe it, people still talking about our movies today as if they were just, I said, yeah. I said, I love it.
But that's the thing, and I know that over and over, you always say you want to do memorable work so people remember you. And the moment that Brian said your name, I saw your face, and you've done that, and it's a massive accomplishment. And you're just, you've already got your legacy, and you're so young. But Leon, is there any director or actor that you have not worked with that you would like to work with?
Yeah, almost everybody.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're already so diverse. I guess there's other avenues. You just to widen your your portfolio.
It's really funny. I've never, not one time in my career, have not felt like a young actor. I always feel like a young actor that hasn't worked with hardly anybody, and there's so many people I want to work with. I always feel that way, and I'll probably go to my grave feeling that way. So
no, that's a good way to be. You have to feel young.
When I was wondering, because I'm a performer, I'm a singer, there was something that I saw in an interview that you did, and you were asked if you considered yourself a singer who acted or an actor who sang. And you kind of chuckled and you're like, well, I'm a singer and I'm an actor. And so that's kind of how I consider myself too. People will be like, well, which one do you do? Well, I do both. So when you got started, I know that you mentioned that you wanted to join in some kind of like talent show with your sister or something when you were younger. That was kind of
no, there was we had a variety show at my school, my Catholic grammar school, and it was always so boring and ridiculous. And I convinced the nuns after I saw a rock and roll revival that my sister's high school did, my older sister. I was like, can we do something like this? And they let me do it. And so I put on the whole show, and different people played different characters from the past, and they loved it. We wound up having to do it over and over again. And so
that is so great. So
yeah,
was it your family members? Was it your mother, your father, your aunt, uncle? Who was it that you would think kind of was the influence, or it was just innate, your interest in music and acting and that sort of thing?
It was innate. No, there was no one in my family that had anything to do with show business.
Really?
And no one that sang professionally. My dad used to sing a lot in the house, but no one who sang professionally or anyone who acted professionally. No way. I mean, I think
Meant to be.
Well, this is a story. I remember going to one of my high school homecoming games, and and I'm listening to people whispering around me. People love to talk loud about you as if you can't hear them. I hate when they do that, but I can't avoid it. And it was really funny to show you how much I did not grow up in any kind of a show business environment or neighborhood or anything like that. I heard this kid saying, "Hey man, you know what? Listen, that guy over there, he's in the movies." When I say he's in the movies, right? Like, I'm not saying you just see him. Like, when he walks and talks, the camera stays on him. So that's like my neighborhood, okay? So I didn't come from any kind of show business background.
Wow, that's just raw talent. And now you're doing what you were meant to do with it forever, and you will continue to. And that's awesome.
Yeah, well, we'll try.
Leon, what's a favorite memory of yours of Little Richard and playing David Ruffin? I always wanted to know that.
What is my favorite memory, you said?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, for one, there's two movies you asked the question about, and there's so many things that happened that I don't know. I wouldn't even know where to begin. There was just a lot of memories, I guess. For the most part, those two movies in particular, I was very much in my method mode. So I guess there's two memories. I can give you two memories. One would be when Otis Williams, who the movie's based on his book, the original member of the Temptations and the founding member. He came to the set one day when David Ruffin was doing a scene with Tammy Terrell. It's not in the movie. We were arguing very violently, as David Ruffin had a very violent relationship with Tammy Terrell. And he came in, he saw one take of me doing this scene. He walked out and never came back again. And he said, that was too real for me.
Wow.
That was too real for me. He said, I felt like I was watching my old bandmate abuse his wife. He said, I can't see it. I can't watch that. And then another one who involved, Little Richard was based on Little Richard's authorized biography. And Little Richard came on the set one day. And I came out, and everyone calls me Little Richard. That's it. No Leon. Okay, so I walked out and see Little Richard was in my eyesight when I came out to do my scene. And so I walked back out and I told the AD, I said, listen, absolutely no disrespect to Little Richard, but there can only be one Little Richard on the set. And he completely understood. You completely, because if you imagine the kind of actor that I am, where I kind of, you know, I believe that I'm this person. I can't, in my eyesight, I can't see the real person. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not, you know, I can't work like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, considering it's the the Little Richard and you're trying to be that, I can only imagine how that would totally take me out of my head too. And you can't afford that. You are, if that's what you're meant to to be at that moment, then it's true. Wow. So did he hang around? Did he just kind of move into another room and still watch, or did he completely leave the premises?
No, I think he left. I don't know what happened. I just know that he wasn't on the set. That's all I know.
Yeah.
He wasn't on the set. He wasn't in my, he wasn't in my line of sight. And that's all I really cared about.
Leon, with your production company, is there a particular story out there that you believe has not been told that you would like to tell with your company?
Wow, there's so many. There's so many. You know, there's so many stories that I've had the rights to this book, The Oral History of Sly and the Family Stones, for a while.
Wow.
Wow.
I really would love to tackle that role, but you know, there's been problem music rights and this and that, whatever. So who knows? We'll see.
I'd love to see that.
Ooh, me too.
Me too.
Leon, let me ask you this one. I've always said one of my I listen to Rick James every day. Every day. I just thought about this. You would be perfect to do that, but here's the thing. One of the worst concerts I ever saw was Rick James, but I still love Rick James. Besides yourself, who do you think could play him? Because I see you playing him.
A lot of different people. I mean, I don't know. I can't. I'm not a good judge of who should play anyone. But they were actually doing a musical of Rick James, and they'd offered me the role, and then it wound up not happening. The musical. So it was a stage play. And then, did you ever see the movie about 50 Cent's life story called Get Rich and Die Trying?
Yeah.
Right. There's a character that's important at the beginning of the movie called Slim, and who's a Rick James type. And that's me playing a cameo. And people don't realize that.
I did. Because I asked.
So.
Wow. Hey, we got about 3 minutes. Sherry, I know you got another question.
So with you're in Colorado right now?
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you do for your free time, just to unwind or loosen up? You said you're playing tennis. Do you do other things?
I play a lot of tennis. The big thing around here is hiking. So everyone hikes.
Yeah.
Everyone hikes, and so so I do some of that. But I have to admit, it's not my thing. You know what I'm saying? Like people here hike 4 times a week. It's like it's all they talk about. I can hike 3-4 times a year up here, and I'm good. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm good. Like I don't. I'm not the guy who's out there. Like, wow, you see the flowers? They're so beautiful this year. Anyone find any mushrooms? Oh, God, gotta get some mushrooms this year. Oh, the walk today was really magical. Oh, you have to do lower low. You have to do. I mean, that's not me. That's not me.
I'll have to admit, I am the hiker person.
Wait a second.
I have to admit,
Wait a second. I'm cool with that, and I find myself liking people that are cool like that. So don't worry about that, Jessica. Me and you are cool.
No, Leon, I'm from British Columbia.
It's just not me.
But I'm not as far as the magical person. Like I'm not like all, fairies and all that stuff. I really do enjoy it, but I'm not. Oh my God! Check out the mushrooms and the mushrooms. But I do appreciate the nature, though.
Yes, definitely. I appreciate nature too. It's just not every day.
Leon, you and I will go to a lounge. I'm in British Columbia. I'm a logger's daughter, and the bush freaks me right out. Like I'm thinking when I'm walking, I'm like, there's a cougar, and I can't run that fast. So no, I'll meet you in the lounge.
That's me during the winter.
Yeah.
I'm in front of the fireplace, just kicking back. Anyone can join me. I'm all good.
I'll join you on that for sure.
Good. Right.
Yeah, before we go, can you please give your social media links for the fans out there?
Yeah, sure. You can always reach me on Instagram, which is at www.justleon, which is at www.justleon, or Twitter, which is at justleon, JUSTLEON. And, Facebook and Google me. I'm easy to find. I'm not hard to find. So,
Sherry, social media?
Facebook, Sherry Nelson. Twitter, Instagram, XOXO, Sherry XO.
Sherry, where are you Zooming from?
I'm on Vancouver Island, actually.
Vancouver.
Yep. Have you been here doing any movies?
Do you know that's so strange? There's so much production going there, and I have not filmed anything there. That's so strange.
Okay, we got to will that to happen.
Yeah, we will. I'm sure it's inevitable. It's in the cards.
Jessica?
And Jessica is in Nashville, a place that I
Yeah.
like, a place where I have some friends. Definitely a music town. And actually, we were scheduled to be there with a sold-out play the following week that we got closed down for the pandemic.
Man.
Yeah, we were gonna be in Nashville, so I'm sure we'll be there whenever theater starts up again. So you have to come check us out.
I'll look for you. I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'm at Jessica Heim 7 on Instagram and Jessica Heim first and last name on Facebook.
Cool.
Leon,
So I guess we'll all be following each other after this.
Yeah.
All right.
do you know what might be going on with that play, say within the next 6 months at all? Any word?
Well, Set It Off, the play I was doing based on the movie, it's actually scheduled to start back up in October, but I just don't think that's going to happen because Broadway shut down. We're a Broadway affiliated play, so all those theaters, and I don't know, like in Tennessee, is that a hot state right now? Are you on the restricted list?
Yeah, we've started to get better, but for the last month or so, we could not get it together. So there's a mask mandate in the Nashville city, and also some other counties that are surrounding their numbers went up. But I think we're slowly starting to trickle down.
Are they one of the mask resistant states?
Some, I'm not gonna lie, some of us, yes. I'm not one of them, but yeah, we've got some stubborn folks down here.
Yeah,
but not resistant.
The thing is with me is it's so hard because if we don't have a unified plan as a country, it's going to be hard for us to get rid of this thing. And I listened to someone the other day said that they don't even believe that COVID-19 exists and that it's some sort of a hoax. And I'm like, okay, wow, all right. So you realize how different people can be that all live in the same country when you hear something like that. And I'm just like really? Like how many people have to die? Like how many, like what, like where does it start to become real for you?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But hey.
And all Sherry wants to do is get out of Canada so we can go on a road trip because Leon, we wanted to, at the end of October, we wanted to get together our whole team and go to Graceland and maybe see if Jessica could perform at Dollywood. That was our plan, but we can't make it happen,
Jessica, what kind of music you do?
A little bit of everything. I've really gotten into jazz standards recently, just kind of some cool jazz stuff, jazz fusion. But I'm that musical theater nerd. I give you a little shoulder shake. But yeah, a little bit of everything, but just anything live at all at this point in my life would be a godsend because nobody's getting to, and it's really kind of wearing on me nowadays.
All right, you guys, and with that, we're going to hard out.
I'll come check you out on your sites and see what you got going on.
Yeah, please do. Absolutely. It'd be great.
Cool.
Thank you, everybody. This is Brian Sashin.
All right.
Next week,
have a great day. Stay safe.
Please give them one of yours.